What up, y'all? Buenos dias. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at in the world. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. My name is Nettie. I'm a small content creator, curator, whatever you want to call it, based out of San Diego. And it's been a minute since I posted, I know. I feel so bad. But I also took a social media break, social media detox, so there's that. But anyway, welcome back. I'm happy you're here. I was debating a lot about posting this video or making a video about this, but I thought to myself, you know what? Why wouldn't I post something that's true to me? Something that's very much my reality, and something I know some way, somehow it's gonna find its way to somebody that needs to hear it and to somebody that's gonna need it. I did want to come on here and make sure that I documented where I'm at currently, some of my thoughts, because today's a big day. Today is September 26th, which is a pretty significant day for me. Because it was a day that my world just, completely left field. My world just flipped upside down, and everything I knew for almost 4 years prior to this date last year completely just changed, and it led me through this healing journey that I've been on, and it's bittersweet, but also I'm very thankful and very grateful for where I'm at currently in life, for my mental state, for my mental health, physically, emotionally. I'm really happy with where I'm at. And just to give some context for those of you guys that don't know me or haven't heard any of my story, basically on this day last year is when I found out that I was being cheated on for over a year. And that's for a lot of people, that's one of the most devastating things that can happen, because not only do you break trust, it's betrayal, you start questioning all these things that, was it real, was it not real? You start blaming yourself, you start doing all these things mentally and emotionally to yourself almost immediately after getting the news, where it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of practice to really sit with yourself and your thoughts, to understand why things happen, to basically overcome tough situations like that. If I can help anybody in this type of situation, whether it's been however long, basically, or it just recently happened, if this video finds you, I'm glad it found you, and I hope it helps. So without further ado, I'm going to give you basically the 3 things I feel I've gained and learned out of this entire process of working on myself for an entire year. And I would only hope that this helps someone and pushes somebody forward or further along on their own healing journey in whatever spectrum that is for you. Side note, I actually came to the park where I was at, which is Crown Point, San Diego, and I drove here and then it started raining, and now I'm not going to take my camera out in the rain, but just know that I'm here, and if it stops raining, I'll make my way out there. All right, so takeaway number 1. Know when to bail. If you're anything like me, I'm one of those people that is going to see it all the way through no matter what. And it's really the no matter what that's kind of like the kicker there, is because it's not no matter what. It's once you've exhausted everything you could possibly do within your power to try to make that situation work. If at the end of the day, you have done everything, you've exhausted everything, and that person is still not happy, and 2, you're not happy, or you're having to compromise things that you never thought you would, know when to bail. Trust me, it is not a failure. Trust me, you'll probably save each other a lot more time and hurt if you just know when to bail. There should be no reason why you stick something out where you are miserable. I know that, if you're a hardcore lover and you just feel like this is the one, if the universe is giving you flags, which are signs where it's just not working out, please take those flags as a sign and exit the situation. Personally, there was plenty of times where I felt like, damn, I'm not happy. I don't know what else to do, Even though I felt those things, I still didn't know how to leave or exit the situation. In my brain at that time, that was a failure. And I can tell you from experience that it is not a failure, The minute you start feeling those things internally, without lying to yourself, being 100% honest with yourself, that is a sign for you to exit because something better is coming. Don't be afraid to leave or exit a relationship because you're scared to be alone or you're scared to change routine. The worst thing you can do for yourself is be complacent and settle for something less than what you deserve. All right, finally stopped raining. All right, y'all. This is it. This is where I was at last year when I found out the news. This is the spot. It's kind of crazy to be here, reflecting, but I wanted to show you because honestly, it feels like it was just yesterday. It's just crazy to think that a whole year has passed by and so much has happened. And in that moment last year, I felt like I was gonna pass out. I felt like my whole world was over. It's crazy. Anyway, let's get to tip number 2. Self-love is not selfish. Here's what I mean by that. For a long time in my past relationships, I've always thought that had to prioritize my entire life. I'd basically allow myself to be consumed by the relationship, and I'd prioritize my partner and whatever my partner wanted, which that led me to basically lose sight of all the things I love doing, hobbies, spending time, quality time with my friends, my family, things I just enjoyed for myself. There was really no me time. Where now, after going through this whole experience and being as aware as I am now, I look back on that and I think about how unhealthy and how toxic that was, because I was basically just losing light of myself. I allowed whoever my partner was basically dictate how I navigated, how I moved, what I did, what I didn't do. And I think it's common for people to fall into that because obviously you want to spend as much time as you can with your loved one or your partner. I've seen that there's a healthy balance of people being able to do that, but there's also a more common fact to that. There's a very unhealthy balance of people not doing that. There's a very unhealthy balance of people kind of trying to control you and control what you do and dictate what you do, that's where it becomes a problem. That's where it becomes an issue, because now there's some type of resentment that you hold against your partner because you can't do certain things that you enjoy doing. This entire year has really taught me the importance of not only maintaining, and cultivating new friendships, new relationships, but also just as an extrovert, like how much I feed off that energy and how social aspects do energize me as a person to be able to give. So to receive that type of energy from, friends and family is very important to me. And so thinking back on it, I'm realizing damn, I really have lost complete sight of myself by allowing other people to basically tell me what to do and can't do. And sometimes it's not even always direct like that. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. But it comes in forms of that person catching an attitude, that person being upset that you're gonna leave town, that person is gonna be upset that you're not with them all the time or cause an argument. So you get to a point where you're almost like, oh, I don't wanna cause an argument, so I'm just not gonna say anything. And it starts creating this anxiety. I remember feeling anxiety every time my friends would tell me to come visit or my family wanted me to come visit. And I was just like, oh my God, how am I gonna bring this up? How am I gonna bring this up without upsetting my partner? And that right there is a clear enough sign that something is not right. I would argue this with anybody, but I just don't feel that whoever you are as an individual at the core of you should change when you jump into a relationship with whoever. You as you and that individual being them, once you guys come together, you guys should both be able to elevate each other no matter what, in whatever aspect that is. Careers, goals, aspirations, whatever you want to call it, that should be the goal, is how do we better ourselves? Sometimes you almost start mimicking the other person's ideas, or sometimes aren't even healthy. You start mimicking that other person's thought process, right? And to some extent, yeah, that person should be able to influence what you do, but obviously it should always be for the better good, for the better health, for better in general, just for better in all aspects in life. It shouldn't be deteriorating who you are at the core. It shouldn't be attacking who you are at the core. It shouldn't be putting you down. It should be uplifting you, inspiring you, pushing you to do more, or pushing you to step outside of comfort zones for you to be better for yourself. You shouldn't have to be identical. Your thought process shouldn't have to be the exact same as your partner. I think there's ways to communicate, even if there is differences, or even if there is things that you guys don't agree on. There should be a way to communicate each other's points of view and not argue and not fight and not think that, oh, you're wrong because we don't think the same. You can absolutely be right, and the other person can absolutely be right. It's just about communicating and also being able to respect one another, which is a big one. Being able to respect one another, if you carry that as a priority, would solve a lot of issues for a lot of people. It would have solved a lot of problems in my past relationship if the respect level was equal. So I'll close out this point by saying this. You shouldn't have to feel guilty or bad for making time for the things that you enjoy. You shouldn't have to be put in a position where you're having to pick things you enjoy over your partner. You have to be able to fill your cup and fulfill yourself with these things that you enjoy doing, assuming that they're healthy, right? Quality time with people, me time, self-care stuff, if you're creative, creating things, assuming that they are healthy things and they're not damaging the relationship. Don't feel guilty for making time for the things that you enjoy. If your partner is emotionally intelligent, they will understand that that's only going to benefit them. You being happy is very important, and it's key to have a healthy, happy relationship. Tip or takeaway number 3, pay attention and pay close attention to how people talk to you and treat you. When there is no respect in the way people talk to you, that says a lot, and I promise it almost will never change. If you're a hardcore lover, I know that some of us think, because I used to think this way, I used to think I'd be able to change the way people are, the way people talk. And sometimes, yeah, you can maybe tweak some thoughts and ideas and the way people talk to you, because you're able to communicate how it affects you, how it makes you feel. When somebody's not emotionally intelligent, no matter how much you communicate properly, how those things or those words, that tone of voice makes you feel, it's going to be the same thing over and over and over again. It is not up to you to fix that person. It is not up to you to go through all of that hurt, all that emotional hurt, to fix them for the next person, because you and that person are more than likely not going to work out. They might change after the fact, after you've removed yourself out of that situation, because at that point you've done all the work you needed to do. You did all the work for them. You took all the pain and all the hurt for them to actually see that there was something not right with how they talked to you and how they treated you. And I know for a lot of us that are just lovers at heart, you think that you're going to change that person. And if anything, you are disrespecting yourself by putting yourself in that position. Trust that the way people talk to you and the way people treat you is a big factor in how that relationship is going to work out. I did want to leave you with a bonus tip though, and that is, thoughts do become things. Thinking back maybe 2 years ago, thinking to myself, when is the arguing going to stop? I wish I could create. I wish I could spend time with my family. I wish I could spend time with my friends. When the thoughts came where I wanted to exit the relationship, I'm like, oh my God, we have a mortgage together. I'm never gonna be able to get out of this, right? But I would pray and I would think to myself, like, man, I wish I can, I can't wait for the day that, we could move to San Diego, because that was like one of my thoughts, is like being able to move back home. I would think these things, I would pray on them, and I'd pray for patience, and I was able to get out of my mortgage in less than a week. We closed escrow in less than 30 days. And because of all these, things happened were the biggest obstacles, which my job and the mortgage. And within 2 weeks, my whole life was figured out already. The two biggest obstacles that I thought were like, there's no way, were the two things that were probably the easiest transition out of this whole thing. Did it come the way I wanted? No, not necessarily. I wasn't planning on, you know, breaking things off. I wasn't planning on being cheated on. I wasn't planning on all this stuff. But I can tell you, a year later, I look back on all these things like, that wasn't me wishing. That wasn't me praying. It was manifesting. I didn't realize I was manifesting. I didn't even know that manifestation would come in those ways, you know? So all I want to say is this: careful what you ask for, because when the universe delivers, you never know how it's going to deliver. You just got to be ready. So that's it. Those are my final takeaways, my final tips on how to get through a breakup, what I've learned over this year of healing and working on myself. And I wanted to end the video by saying that this is going to conclude this chapter. I went through this year, right? Probably one of the toughest years, because it was a lot of ups and downs. It wasn't easy, I'm not gonna lie. And you know, a whole healing journey is not easy to get through, to start. There's really no ending to it, right? We're all a work in progress. Nobody's perfect. Like, shit just happens. Life just happens. I want to close out this series properly, which is the main reason why I wanted to make this video, because I started this series when all this barely happened. Now that I'm settled into San Diego, I feel like I need to properly introduce you to San Diego. If you like this video, please make sure to like. It does help me out with the algorithm. It helps showcase this video to other people. Send this to a friend. Make sure to subscribe if you're looking forward to these new adventures that we're about to embark on in San Diego. I love you guys. Peace.
Look, wave, tapped in. Lately my life had a fast man, but it's ass plan. Fight for my life with the brass hands, and I still ball with a bad hand.